Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful way of thinking about progress. It's this idea that real growth isn't just about the moves we make, but about the actual shape of the world we're moving around in. So let's start here with this really simple but pretty deep idea. It doesn't matter what you're trying to build, a career, a relationship, anything. We all start with a blank space. There's no perfect time to start. There's just, well, the beginning. And this leads to a fascinating thought. If we all start from that same blank slate, then our potential isn't really defined by our starting point. So what does define it then? It's all about the space of possibilities you create for yourself. It's about the structure, the rules, you might even call it the geometry of the world you end up building. Okay, so to really get this, let's use a simple analogy from game design. We're going to check out 3 totally different game boards to see just how much the underlying structure can change, well, pretty much everything. So, imagine the simplest system possible, just a single, straight line. Think of it like a train on a track. There's only one way to go, forward or back. That's it. Now, this system is totally predictable. You always know what's coming next. But that certainty comes at a huge cost. Possibility. There's just no room for creativity, no detours, and strategy is completely meaningless. It's a world of pure order with absolutely zero freedom. Okay, now let's add another dimension. This is the world we're all pretty familiar with, like a classic chessboard. And bam, all of a sudden you've got 4 directions, up, down, left, right, and your choices just explode. Now you have to plan, you have to anticipate, you have to strategize. This is where attack and defense actually start to mean something. But even here, you're still operating inside a box with rigid, familiar walls. All right, now this is where things get really, really interesting. Imagine a board that's not made of squares, but of hexagons. See, the hex grid doesn't just add more options, it completely changes the nature of the game. The flow of movement is way more natural, connections just multiply all over the place, and the whole system just feels more cooperative. It doesn't make the game more complicated, it sets it free. So this table really sums it up perfectly. The geometry of the board is the world you're in. Linear is simple, sure, but you're confined. Square lets you be strategic, but it's still rigid. But hexagonal? That's about freedom. It's cooperative, it's expansive, it's a whole different ballgame. So, okay, this is a cool metaphor for games, but how does this actually help us understand our own lives? Well, let's connect the dots. It has everything to do with life, because these boards aren't just for games. We're operating on them all the time. Think about the structure of your career path, the workflow on a team project, and of course, maybe the biggest one, our relationships. Just think about it for a second. A square relationship can feel really stable, very reciprocal, but it can also feel kind of confined, right? Like there are these invisible edges and unwritten rules. But then you have a hexagonal relationship, and that just feels spacious. It's more intuitive, and it almost feels like it sustains itself. It just has more room to breathe. So here's the crucial point. The underlying structure of our connections, the board we're on, often determines how they function and feel. A linear connection, it's clear, but it's totally inflexible. A square one is balanced, sure, but it can feel a little transactional, a little tit for tat. A hexagonal one, though, that's resilient. It grows from a natural harmony, not from constant grinding effort. And this is probably why some connections just feel so effortless. It's because when 2 people are operating on the same board, when they share the same rhythm of thought, the misunderstandings just fade away and the connection seems to power itself. This all leads to the most empowering idea of them all. We aren't just players, moving pieces around on a board that someone else made. No, we're the architects. We get to design these systems. This is the core truth right here. The systems we build, whether we do it consciously or not, they define the possibilities available to us. The structure of your team, at work, your friendships, your daily routines, all of it shapes what's possible inside them. So, true progress? It isn't just about trying harder or making better moves. It's about taking a step back and asking, hey, am I even playing on the right board to begin with? Is the system itself the thing that's limiting me? And you can actually apply this pretty easily. First, just recognize what systems you're in. Is your career path a straight line? Is your team's dynamic kind of square? Second, assess its limitations. Does it feel confined, rigid? And then finally, ask yourself how you could expand it. Adding a dimension could be as simple as introducing a new way to communicate on a project or creating a shared hobby in a friendship. It's all about intentionally opening up new pathways where they didn't exist before.
And so ultimately, we're left with this really profound and kind of challenging question. It's asking us to look beyond our immediate actions and to examine the very foundations of our world. Are the systems we've built for ourselves, in our careers, in our connections, and even in our own minds, are they wide enough to hold the life we actually wish to live?